morning. Welcome to the Bat X Release Show on Covers. Thanks for joining us here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:15 a.m. Good morning to everybody there in the chat. Great to see the usuals as always. Great to see Derek. Great to see a fantastic week. July sputtered off as things tend to do, but an 8.32 unit last week is something that maybe happens a couple times a year. That hot day, 5-0 on the Tuesday, strong Friday to finish it off. Plus 6.8% ROI on the season, over 20 units. Let's keep going immediately. Don't want to waste any time as we're kind of book specific on a couple plays. So let's get right to the release procedure here. Producer Brady's on the buttons today. We'll tell you what book we're betting at. Let you know maybe some secondary books, give you some time to log in. Then we'll tell you the prop market we're betting, give you some time to go find those tabs. Then we'll tell you the team the player's on, the player, the over, under, making sure everybody there in the chat following live can get that same number because Derek's numbers have so much influence over the market, as anybody there with his numbers know. Literally the market tumbles to Derek's numbers constantly every day. So in saying that, Derek, I know I'm talking quick and you haven't had a chance to jump in here. Are you ready for another release, pal?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. Nothing upsets me more, missing numbers when I talk too much. So let's get right to it. Release number 1. We are at FanDuel. This is book specific, but 365 MGM about 12 points off. Head over to MLB. Head over to Cubs Mets. Head over to pitcher props. Head over to Jameson Taillon strikeouts. Release number 1. Chicago Cubs starting pitcher Jameson Taillon under 4.5 Ks. Plus 122. Taillon under 4.5 Ks. Plus 122. It's a price, like I said, about 12 points off market. Mets bottom 10 in K percentage last 30 days. What are the projections here for Taillon, who's averaging about 94 pitches per start over his last 10?
Projections 4.1, so we're not getting crazy value on this. That's kind of going to be the story of today. We have a bunch of good bets. We don't have any great ones, but this is still a good bet. Projects to win about 60% of the time, plus 122 off market. A low case Mets offense, even trading some guys away at the deadline. This is still an offense that projects for low strikeouts. And the next best line is 12 points off. Pinnacle is plus 104 last I looked. So, we're getting good at this number.
Yeah, and 16 mile an hour winds blowing somewhat out to right field. If that adjusts a little bit more towards center field, it could be just a tough pitching environment for both him and Carlos Carrasco today. So let's hit that. Jameson Taillon under 4.5 Ks plus 122 there at FanDuel. For release number 2, we are at DK. Some secondary books, pretty much the same price. I believe Betway, Barstool, similar prices. BetMGM slightly off. This has moved 10 points, so it's even closer to where 365 is as well. Game in question, Royals at the Red Sox. More baseball at Fenway Park. Head over to pitcher props. Head over to pitcher outs. For release number 2, Kansas City starting pitcher Brady Singer under 17.5 outs, minus 140. Singer under 17.5 outs, minus 140. Pinnacle was at 16.5 last time I checked, basically at the same price. Double-digit winds blowing out, some rain in the forecast. His 101 pitch average over his last 3 games is actually the longest 3-game stretch average. He's back-to-back 100-pitch games for the first time in the season, so there could be a shorter leash there. What are the projections for the Kansas City pitcher who the ERA is close to a lot closer to 6 than it is to 5?
Yeah, projection's 14.3, so we're getting
Woo.
3 outs under the line. You know, the projection technically is a little bit under the 5-inning mark, and he's got to go 6. Projects to win 77% of the time. We're paying a little bit for it, but minus 140 is still good, especially like you said, offshore books like Pinnacle and Bovada, they're 16.5 right now. Pinnacle 16.5 minus 135. So it's a full out under at the same, the same odds basically. And the projection is really good. He's in Boston. It's the best park in baseball that isn't Coors Field. It's the best hitting weather of the day, and that's where we're at.
As we see, appreciate everybody in the chat telling us where it's going and where it's moving. Already down to 16.5 outs at Barstool. Anthony DeMelo says it's off the board. And the smart man, Andrew Brennan, just says Tyone under just moved to minus 113 at Pinnacle. So already seeing some influence there. Appreciate everybody there in the chat letting us know where things are going. Let's jump over to release number 3. Hopefully that number's still there. We are over at Bet Rivers. I know similar price at Canadian Betway. Head over to Miami at Cincinnati. 640 game. Great American Ballpark. Just looking at a different book here, seeing where price is. Yeah, 30 points off at 365. So pretty big difference. Let's go over to pitcher outs. Lovely that our number is still there. Hopefully everybody has a Canby book that they can take advantage of this number at. For release number 3, Miami starting pitcher Braxton Garrett under 16.5 outs minus 120. Braxton Garrett under 16.5 outs minus 120. Let us know where it is. Let us know if you're seeing it move. Pinnacle minus 155 at 15.5, I believe. Another similar situation that we just saw with the Singer. They're a full out and pretty much at the same price. Lots of value there. Solid hitting conditions at Great American Ballpark today. 82.3 pitches per start over his last 10 starts. This is a short leash pitcher who we've seen just implode. Like, he does have some good stuff from time to time, but the consistency with Garrett is just not there. What are your projections today, Derek, on the Miami starter?
Projections 14.4, so 2 outs under the line. And I mean, this number is just so far off market. Every other book is 15.5 at the same number or worse. So it's a really good line relative to the rest of the market. We're getting 2 outs under, projects to win about 72% of the time. Going into Cincinnati, really tough ballpark. Like you said, pretty good hitting conditions. And this is a guy who has a really short leash. So if he starts giving up bombs in Great American, like that's, he might not last long.
Plus, Ellie's I know he's not hitting as well as he is, but if there's someone going deep on him, he also is hitting leadoff. So seeing him as the 4th time around is probably not going to be something that Braxton Garrett sees here. So Garrett under 16.5 outs minus 120. It's interesting to see what happens with the 16.5 out lines because the volatility with them is huge, whether it goes towards the key number of obviously the 18 or the key number of the 15. So there's always somewhere to go with the 16s, and we see the move, and we could see this certainly close at 15.5. We keep rolling on. Release number 4. We are at Bet 365. Secondary books include BetMGM, BWin, Patano. The game in question, Toronto at Cleveland. Head over to player props. Head over to pitcher strikeouts. I believe that number. If producer Brady could just zoom in. Yes, sir. Okay, just making sure it's there, bud. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, release number 4. Let's go. We got the number. Tanner Bybee under 5.5 Ks. Tanner Bybee under 5.5 Ks plus 1 125. Bybee under 5.5 Ks plus 125. Let us know if you're shopping around somewhere else. If Bet365 isn't available to you, let us know the price you're getting at. Thought we were getting a Cleveland over 1.5 punches thrown. There is some baseball fighting bets going on. Why not? Toronto, bottom half of the league, K percentage over the last 30 days. Bybee is a K per inning pitcher so far in his rookie year, but some walk issues kind of creeping up there. I know baseball's a game of adjustments. We've seen him, I think it's about start number between 8 to 11. So there's obviously more information on the rookie. What are the projections here for Tanner Bybee, who doesn't really have a long leash of pitching in the minors, which is interesting?
Yeah, Bybee's not a guy who is going to go super deep. He's had a little bit longer leash in the majors. He's facing a Blue Jays offense, though, that is really good. And they're not as low strikeout as they were before the deadline, but they're not a high strikeout team by any means. The projection here is about 5.1. So it's another bet where it's not like a super high win percentage one. Projects to win about 58% of the time, but it still has good expected value at this number. And, that's where I'm at.
5.1. So, I mean, once you get into anywhere paying a juice, then you've kind of lost your edge slightly. So that's kind of where it is. As a plus 125 at 365 is certainly the best price, as we're seeing some other people say plus 113, plus 110. That's kind of where I would draw the line. Yeah, especially with 5 other plays on the go there. So there we are, Tanner Bybee under 5.5 Ks versus the Jays, a good plus money. Let's go to last release here today. And before we get that, appreciate everybody there in the chat. Just hit that like, subscribe button. It certainly helps us out. That helps us out. And something that can certainly help you guys out is having more outs. You hear it. It's basically the easiest thing you can do as a bettor, having different books. I mean, I know it's easier said than done. I know it's easier to say, let's put all the different money in different accounts, but over the course, even just a couple or 365 can be FanDuel. You can certainly find some better edges just between plays. So help yourself out. Take advantage of multiple books. Final release. We're at Bet Rivers. Secondary books do include, we might go to 365, same. Bet Rivers 365. Little pause there from Brady. He's like, he's throwing me for a loop. But 365, Bet Rivers, MGM, similar pricing on this. We are going to the late game, Texas at Oakland.
I think it's a very similar line too.
What was that, Derek?
I said I think Caesars has a very similar line on this also for anybody looking for.
All right, let's head over to pitcher strikeouts. Number's still there. Let's go. Got them all today, Derek. Love to see that. For release,
I can't remember the last show we. Go ahead. Let's get it out first. Yeah.
Max Scherzer over 7.5 Ks plus 105. Max Scherzer over 7.5 Ks plus 105. Going on the over. Looking for 8 or more from Max, who, let's say he struggled in that first frame in his opening game as Texas, but he settled down. He finished with 9 Ks versus the White Sox in that, despite the 30-pitch first inning where he just got blooped to death. Looking for more Ks versus a weak Oakland offense. What are the projections here for Scherzer, Derek?
Projection here is 8.2. So about 3/4 of a strikeout over. Another one that projects to win a little over 60% of the time. Scherzer, I mean, is Scherzer. He's good. He has a long leash. He's going into Oakland to face just this terrible Oakland offense that is also strikeout heavy. Extreme pitcher's park, best pitching weather of the slate by a lot. Only game in the 60s, and it's 64. So this is a really good one here. And I'm really excited because this is the first show in I can't remember how long that we actually got every number we wanted. We didn't lose. We didn't have to switch books. We didn't have to settle for a worse line. We got all of them, which feels good.
Yeah, it certainly does. And happy that you told me to get it out before we did our victory lap there on the last one. So let's do a quick recap. If you're just joining the show, we got all 5 plays in. I mean, we've lost the move lines have obviously moved, as they tend to do as soon as we've hit them. We started off with Jamison Tyone under 4.5 Ks plus 122. That was at FanDuel. The secondary books included 365 and MGM. Then we hit Brady Singer under 17.5 outs minus 140. Pinnacle other books sitting at 16.5 at the same price. So there's still room for that if you're late to it. Then Braxton Garrett under 16.5 outs minus 120. Great price considering other books like Pinnacle. Back to 15.5 minus 155 to the under. Tanner Bybee under 5.5 Ks. Under 5.5 Ks plus 125. It's another tough matchup versus the Toronto offense who's starting to heat up here. And this is a rookie pitcher who there's lots of tape on. Let's go release number 5. We went Max Scherzer over 7.5 Ks. This is a guy who finished with 9 Ks in pretty much 65 pitches versus the White Sox in his last game after struggling in his start. So that's where we are today. We had Yonny Chirinos on the dock, but he's been a tough one. He's been a tough one to gauge just because we don't know the leash, I'm sure, that Atlanta's kind of giving him. No?
Yeah, we don't know the leash necessarily. His stuff plus has also been like way higher since joining the Braves, which scares me a little bit, betting an under on a guy like that. Like maybe the Braves have figured something out. They have a very smart front office. So I wasn't willing to mess with that one again.
And you don't see guys like get DFA'd and like picked up immediately. So maybe they did see something with him. So it's an interesting case with Yonny Chirinos. But all 5 plays, the numbers that we got. Happy to get it. We're here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:15 a.m. Back here again tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Let's keep August hot. Great week last week, over 8 units. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. These are his projections, his bets, his numbers. This is Covers. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 9:15 a.m.